How's it going, everybody? So, over the past couple weeks, I have been running a beta for my first real SaaS application called Dinnerbee. And if you're new around here, Dinnerbee is a platform for couples or roommates or anybody who lives together to plan and share their meals throughout the week. And like I said, over the past couple of weeks, I have been running a beta. So, this is just slightly ahead of my launch. I wanted to bring in a select group of folks to actually test the application, make sure there were no crazy site-breaking bugs or anything like that, and also just to make sure that things like user experience and flow throughout the application work how I expected and to the quality that I was hoping for in this application. I'll leave a link to a video that I made kind of going over the entire beta process and the things that I was kind of hoping to get out of the beta. But essentially for this phase, I invited 30 people from this YouTube community into a Discord server, gave them some instructions about how to onboard onto the app, and then just kind of let them loose. I was able to gather a ton of feedback and information about how people are using the application, and I was able to also action on some of that feedback, which has been really awesome and something that I've been doing over the past couple of weeks. It was really awesome having this kind of tight feedback loop with folks from the YouTube channel. So again, if you were part of that SaaS beta, I really appreciate any time that you took to go into the platform, find a bug, talk about a new feature or anything like that. Like I said, I really do appreciate that. So specifically in this video, I want to talk about mainly what were some of the feedback points that I got during this beta period. There were definitely some things that came up multiple times from different users, and I want to go over that and kind of the steps that I took to address that feedback. I also want to go over some of the feature suggestions that I got out of the beta, which was really cool to see as well. Then I kind of want to talk more broadly about betas in general and whether or not it made sense for me to do this beta, and is this something that I would do again in the future, and if I were to do it again in the future, what are some of the things that I would do differently. Finally, I'll be wrapping up by talking about what's next, because once you've done a beta, you got to release the thing. So we're getting really close to actually fully releasing the application, which is super exciting, and I want to talk about just the few more steps that I am preparing before I fully launch. So stick around to the end of the video to hear all about those next steps, but let's start this off by talking about some of the feedback that I got during this beta period. So like I said, I invited about 30 folks into a Discord server where I had kind of instructions about things that I was looking for and trying to get feedback on. So those things were, are there site crashing bugs? Are there like UI bugs that just look bad on a certain screen resolution? UX suggestions. If things didn't make sense from a user experience perspective, I wanted to know about that and potentially how to make it better. And I was able to get feedback on these aspects in the 3 major features that I have currently for this application. The first feature is pretty simple. It is really just allowing users to create, view, and update recipes. And there were a handful of like small little bugs that people were able to find. One pretty obvious and impactful bug was if you created a recipe and then you edited that recipe, all of the ingredients just got re-added, so it would kind of just double the amount of ingredients that you had every single time. So I obviously hopped in and fixed that one. There were also just some kind of smaller UI fixes. The ingredients list wasn't aligned nicely and spaced evenly, so I was able to fix that kind of stuff up as well. But then I even got feedback about, so I have units of measurement for different types of ingredients that you can add to a recipe, and just things like adding grams, which is not something that I would think of normally, but there are definitely folks out there who are using grams and different units of measurement when they're creating recipes. So I was able to bolster up that list a little bit and make sure that everybody's represented. Onto the second feature, which is the calendar and scheduling feature of Dinnerbee, allowing you to take those recipes and turn them into meals essentially to plan them out throughout the week. And again, there were some small UI things here. If you had a previously scheduled recipe and that recipe name was over a certain length, it was throwing off some of the spacing inside the bubble itself. But one of the main pieces of feedback that I got from multiple folks during this beta period was on this feature, you were able to schedule a meal. When you click on a day to actually schedule that meal, a modal pops up, and previously what I had was a search box. So you would have to kind of know the exact recipe title that you were looking for and then put that into the search, and then I had an API endpoint that was executing that search, and it was using like exact character matches too, so you had to make sure that your capitalization was correct, otherwise you would get no results. I never really even thought that this was a bad user experience, but multiple folks were like, hey, this isn't great. Could we do something instead where we preload all of the recipes that you have, and instead of executing a search, that text box at the top is really more of a filter. And I thought that was an awesome idea. It is really, truly a much better user experience because now you don't have to know off the top of your head all the recipes that you have at your disposal, and you can kind of see everything right up front. And if you do have something more specific in mind, you're able to filter that list down based off of that title. Now, the second major piece of feedback that I got, and I got to tell you, this is something that I thought I implemented, but I didn't. For whatever reason, I must have just forgot to do it as I was doing this feature. But the other main feature of DinnerBee is being able to invite a guest over to a calendar that you have. So if I have purchased DinnerBee, I'm able to invite my girlfriend, for example, who lives with me and needs to know the schedule and be able to add to that schedule as well based off of which meals we're cooking throughout the week. This guest user doesn't have to pay anything extra, which is really awesome. And a user is just able to invite a person to a calendar and then they can collaborate on it. Now, the thing is, a guest user is able to create all of their own recipes as well. But something that I did not do is in that meal scheduling section that I just talked about before, a user did not have access to their guest's recipes, and vice versa, a guest did not have access to the main user's recipes. So you were in this situation where if you wanted to have the same recipes as the other person on the calendar, you had to replicate those recipes and have them in your own account. And that was not a good user experience at all. And I really did mean to make sure that both of the user's recipes, whoever is on that calendar, would show up in that search box. But I just forgot for whatever reason. So I heard this feedback and got on that right away. So now if you are a user and there is a guest on your calendar, you're able to see all of your recipes and their recipes as well and add either of them to the calendar. Same goes for guests. They're able to see the main user's recipes and schedule whichever kind of recipes they want. The last major piece of feedback that I got was just in the onboarding flow itself. I had a user that created an account and then was not able to sign back into their account because on my account creation flow, I just had a single password input. So they could put whatever password in there, but if for whatever reason there was a typo in that password, they wouldn't really know about it until they tried to sign in again. So in order to circumvent that, I added a forgot password flow. So this will send an email over to them with a unique link that they're able to reset their password. And also in my account creation flow, I have a password validation so that you have to type the same exact password twice in order to actually create your account. So along with these three major things that I kind of had to address, I also just got a bunch of other feedback about small little UI things that I was able to address quickly. Things like limiting inputs, so you could break the application if you have these giant inputs on like recipe names or calendar names or things like that, and just other small little UI bugs. So there was definitely a lot to do over the last 2 weeks, but I really do think that all of the feedback that I got was very actionable and will absolutely contribute to a better platform that I want to give to my users. Now, I also solicited feedback, not just in terms of things that are already in DinnerBee, but also potentially if anybody had ideas about new features that could be added to the platform, I wanted to know about those as well. And one feature that came up a couple different times, and something that was actually on my mind before I even did the beta, was this aspect of a community feature. So essentially, if you are a user and you're creating a recipe, you have the option to mark that recipe as public. And therefore, this will create a community portal essentially where all of the recipes for all DinnerBee users who have decided to make their recipes public, it'll show up in this community tab. And I really do love that idea. I think the thought of making a DinnerBee kind of a big old community where folks can go and share and maybe learn about new recipes and new cultures would be really awesome. So that is a feature that is on my roadmap. It might not happen before the full launch, but it'll be like the first thing that I add as a new feature going forward. So that pretty much wraps up all the feedback that I got throughout this 2-week period. And I want to talk about whether or not I thought this beta was a success, and is this something that I would do again? And my answer is an absolute wholehearted yes. I think for me personally, especially building my first SaaS application, there's just always like a nagging thought in the back of your head, like, what if what I'm building just doesn't make any sense? Like from a user experience perspective, are people going to be able to use it the way that I thought they would be able to? Also, just thinking about onboarding and there's payments involved and all this kind of stuff. So all these things are in the back of my head, and like I just want to make sure that people can actually use the thing before I start trying to sell it. So while things definitely did come up during the beta, I was able to address those, and now I'm in a place where I can kind of just breathe, and I know that if I get real users, real paying users onto this thing, they're going to be able to use it and they're going to be able to get value from it. And I will also say just the overall community aspect of hosting this beta was really cool too. Just kind of being able to have that instant communication with folks that are using my app and also that watch these videos was really cool. So thank you again to everybody who took part. I also like the format of running it in a Discord server. I get those notifications on my phone, so I can kind of just talk to people in real time, which is really nice. And also being able to split up all the different types of feedback into different channels made it really easy for folks to put information where it needed to go. The only thing that I would really do differently next time is invite more people. I kind of didn't put 2 and 2 together, that if you invite 30 people to come to your beta, 30 people are not actually going to do the beta. So that's what I did. I invited 30 people, and I think I had like 10 to 15 that actually made accounts. So like I said, I think the next time I do it, I would probably just double whatever I want in the platform and invite that many people, because then I'll actually get the number that I'm looking for. So finally, I just want to talk about what is next. Like I said, we just ran a beta, and what comes next is a launch. So there is one more phase of the beta. So this is like a 3-phase beta. That was step 2, and the last phase 3, is just me having my girlfriend use the application. So I'll be inviting her as a guest user over to one of my calendars, and I want to make sure that that whole flow works for us as a household, trying to schedule meals throughout the week, because that really was the main goal of this application, was to be able to use it with my girlfriend and kind of streamline our process of cooking throughout the week. So that'll be a big test. I'm really looking forward to going through that with her. But if she hates it, I don't know. I think I just got to trash the whole app, just throw it all out, and probably delete this YouTube channel. I can't come back from that. Anyways, after that, it's pretty much ready. I just have to do maybe like a couple more things, like getting those legal pages in there, like terms of service and privacy policy, all that kind of stuff. And then just start coming up with content. The main way that I'm going to be marketing this is through social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I'll be working with influencers. And yeah, so really the next step is kind of gathering up as much content as I possibly can to start promoting DinnerBee. And I'll be really excited to show off all of the marketing that I'm doing for this, kind of doing a lot of trial and error, as like I said, this is my first time trying to sell a software. I think there's going to be a lot of learning that comes out of it, and I'm really excited to share that with all of you. So keep an eye out for those videos that will be coming up throughout the next couple of months. But thank you so much for watching all the way through. I hope you are as excited as I am to finally launch this thing. It's been a long time coming, and thank you so much for being on this journey with me. So I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I will see you in the next one.